Captain's Log Supplemental. You know, a lot of ink has been spilled about whether or not we should really go back to a currency-based economic system or stick with our merit and reputation-based economic system. And, well, after today's bounty that we collected, I think the reputation one's definitely going to win out. We're exploring the some of the outer systems here in the Beta Quadrant, and we happened upon a planet that had one of the iconic things that we've been looking for since we set out into the stars. Yes, a planet with actual fire-breathing dragons. This particular one has been sought after for, 200 years now, and finally, me and the brave crew of the USS Hopper can say that we are the ones who can claim this reputational bounty and be the ones who officially found dragons. We didn't even lose any crewmen. The ship got a little charred. These Intrepid classes being able to land is kind of a mixed bag. But after a good peace talk, I think we worked something out, and might even be able to get these guys to join the Federation. Turns out they have warp travel, but just don't use it. I don't know. It's a whole thing. Anyways, I think I'm gonna pop a cap off one of my more illicit bottles of spirits tonight in celebration.
Welcome back, everybody, to Captain's Log Supplemental. As for those who are uninitiated, we are a Star Trek rewatch podcast cruising through all of Star Trek in chronological order. We are most of the way through Star Trek Enterprise, and as always, I am joined by my two friends, Stanford and Rob.
Hello.
Hey there.
As well as friend and producer, Mariah.
Hi there.
So watching some stuff today. Started watching Delicious Dungeon on Netflix.
That's either really stupid or okay.
It's good.
It can't
I
be.
have
It's
it
an
on
anime.
my watch list.
Oh, it's an anime. Oh, okay. I
anime.
apologize. I was thinking it was like some kind of reality show or some shit.
No.
Is it Delicious Dungeon or Delicious in Dungeon?
Yep, it's one of those.
Okay.
I've watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes, but yeah, it's really good. One of the main characters is a dwarf, and it's actually voiced by Sungwon Cho.
Let's pretend I don't know who that is.
ProZD?
Oh, ProZD. Oh, okay. Yeah, that guy's funny as shit.
Yeah. So he's really good in that. Yeah, it's just really enjoyable. It's basically the premise is that it's a group of, it's kind of a party of adventurers, and they're going through a dungeon, and they happen upon ProZD's character, the guy he's voicing is a dwarf, and they're poor, and so they're like, well, we'll just eat the stuff in the dungeon. And so it's like part anime, part cooking show.
Of course.
It's really good.
Of course.
I've heard very good things about it.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's very enjoyable.
Because of Bro CD, I still sometimes go, this is my ass kicking outfit, bitch. Oh man, he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he does a good job.
I don't know how recent it is. I just watched a tier list he did of all of the Studio Ghibli movies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I've seen his tier list of like every top ramen flavor and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like his food videos. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Mostly because like he gets annoyed so quickly by all the food. He's like, I hate this, and puts more in his face. It's a good time.
Yeah. I think he had like one where he's like, I'm gonna make every Campbell's soup, and like after like the 4th variety of chicken noodle, he's like, Jesus fucking Christ with this shit.
I like chicken, the Campbell soup in general, very bland, not good.
Yeah, it was good for the 60s. Like
Well, that's why his video on Pringles was so good. Because, like, Pringles also not super flavorful for the most part.
Right.
Pringles have, like, a distinct flavor, though. Like, if someone puts a chip in my face and it's a Pringle, I will recognize it immediately.
Do you remember when Lay's made their, like, Pringle knockoffs for a while there? I don't know if they're still doing that. Stacks, yeah. Those were terrible.
Yeah, they were
Well,
good.
I don't remember that at all. Do y'all remember 3D Doritos though?
Yeah.
Those were good.
I
Those
did
were
not care
good.
for them.
Also, the Cheetos, are they Cheetos Puffs? What were they called?
Well, they still make those.
Did they? They're the ones that look like little like Cheeto checks. I like those.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay. So I don't know if they still make those, but I do remember those.
Yeah, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I do not care generally for cheese like snacks like that. I like Doritos, but
That's like half of American snacks.
I
dude.
know
Yeah.
Cheetos, Cheez-Its, fucking Goldfish.
Doritos.
I do not like them.
Goldfish, yeah,
Doritos are
Cheez-Its.
pretty much it. Doritos are the only ones I like.
So you
Wow.
know what's really weird? I was driving by the Taco Bell on Broad Street right by our house, and they have Cheez-It stuff now. Like you can get a Mexican pizza on a Cheez-It,
Yeah.
but it's a big Cheez-It.
It better
it's a
be a
big
big
Cheez-It.
Cheez-It. It was tiny ass
Yeah,
little
they have
pizza.
they have like a crunch wrap with just like a big ass cheese it in the middle of it. I haven't
Yeah,
tried it.
Is it like brand name Cheez-It too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, someone at PepsiCo, because I think that's who owns Taco Bell, and probably
Yep.
Cheez-Its. Someone at PepsiCo is like a mad scientist in a lab that like they don't let see the sun, and so
It's like,
he's
well,
like, it's just like
We've got 6 ingredients. How many different things can we make?
and like Taco Bell is the only like one of their outlets that's like willing to put up with their shit.
You said you like Doritos. It was funny. I was in Mexico, a few weeks back.
The origin of
Yeah.
Doritos, sure.
No, I was going to say. So we got a bag of Doritos there, just like a little snack bag, and they're different than regular Doritos. I did not expect that. They're not super cheesy. They're like more like spicy, peppery flavor. The bag looks almost exactly the same, except it's got Spanish words on it. But it's like have you ever had like the spicy nacho Doritos like here?
Yeah.
Like the red hot Doritos. They're not
No.
called red hot. Like the fire Doritos or whatever. Those
Like
ones?
spicy nacho or something like that. That's like the default flavor of Doritos there, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So
Those.
instead of calling it nacho cheese Doritos, do they just call them cheese Doritos?
No, no cheese at all. I think they were just like nacho Doritos or something like that. I don't know.
No, hold on a second, Rob. You do know that Mexico has other kinds of cheese, right?
Yes. I'm sorry. I was trying to make a joke. It fell flat. I apologize.
Oh, that was okay.
I was like, oh shit. We need to get Rob to a Mexican restaurant stat. God, I fucking love Mexican food so much.
It's so good.
There's like a couple of cuisines that like it's like you can only eat one cuisine for the rest of your life. Mexican is like the number one spot.
It's-
Ooh,
That's
it's
pretty
definitely
up
up
there.
there.
And then
Yeah.
like
It-
my
it's
top
either that
five
or like Japanese cuisine for me.
Yeah, my top
Mm.
5 include like Japanese and Indian.
Ooh, Indian.
Yeah, good. I'm agreeing with all. I like Italian too. Can't go wrong with Italian.
See, I'm done with Italian. I got plenty. I'm European enough. Fuck it.
You fucking food hipster. Fuck out of here.
No, I'm not a hipster. I'm just like, it's like I'm good. Like I ate Italian
I
all
don't
my
like
life.
cheese. I don't like Italian
No,
food.
I like
Bleh.
cheese. I don't
I'm
like
too
that
cool
fake
for those
cheese. I'm too
foods.
cool. It's not cool. It's called being a weeaboo. There's a difference. Like Vietnamese food might be up there. Fuck, I love Vietnamese food so fucking much.
I don't think I ever had that much Vietnamese food.
Oh my god, when you come here to visit, we will order Vietnamese food.
All right.
With the Vietnamese coffee, that's what I want.
Oh yeah, the Vietnamese coffee is pretty good.
It's poured over sweetened condensed milk.
Oh, delicious.
Oh.
Yeah, you might like it.
They make it like
It's-
really, really strong, and then
It's
yeah,
very
add
strong.
condensed milk to it to lighten
like-
it up and sweeten it.
Thick.
Sounds delicious.
It is. It's fucking good. It's fucking good. And like pho is Vietnamese.
Okay. Pho, yeah, okay. I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
I must have had pho. I don't,
Oh man,
there's just, like,
Korean
not that many
food's really
places-
good too, though. Can I
Mm.
just say Asia? Like that's it's Asia plus Mexico.
All right. Well, now that we're all very hungry, let's get into this episode. Oh, forgot to mention, as always, please like, subscribe, rate, review, do all those things. 5-star men, we appreciate it for the podcast. Get that in there before we begin. So, this episode was Episode 13 of Season 3, Proving Ground. We get a little cold open from another perspective today. It's we're on the Andorian ship with Shran. Shran is back.
Oh, were there Andorians in this episode?
Yeah.
Several of them, yes. So he's looking annoyed, having a drink in his quarters, and gets called to the bridge. They're apparently in the Expanse, and his lieutenant is concerned for their safety. They've got a mission there, apparently. But she's like, well, they're probably dead anyway. And Shran says, don't underestimate the pinkskins.
God,
the Andorian bridge looks really cool.
It was pretty slick, I'll be honest.
It's going to contrast very heavily with a very dumb bridge later that we'll get to. Yeah, you two take a moment to really think about which other bridges we saw in this episode.
I was burping.
Dumb bridges.
So right after that, we get another alien perspective and jump into a Xindi meeting. Degra is talking to all his Xindi buddies. Degra is the kind of head scientist of the super weapon thing. And he is...
my
he's
note
called
here,
them all there. What's that?
So my note here is this meeting feels like it could have been an email.
God damn it, you let me...
Yeah.
beat me too much. Yes. So...
Chris throwing a sissy fit.
That was in my note. Like, I was getting there. You interrupted me with the joke. God damn.
I can't wait to edit that out. Here, no. You deliver the joke, and I'll laugh like I didn't think of it.
No.
You do
It's
it.
done
Do it.
now.
I can edit all this in post. It's fine.
So Degra has called all of his Xindi friends in, and is like, it's a very important meeting, and they're all like, no, what's so important? Is it done? And he's like, no, but we've got a test scheduled for 3 days, and if that all goes well, the final product will deploy it in a month. And I'm with everybody else. I think the meeting could have been an email.
Fucking email us. Oh, it's great, Chris.
I hate you.
Oh shit.
So we finally get to Enterprise, and Hoshi and T'Pol are talking to Archer, and Hoshi says they found kind of that isotope signal that they had planted on the shipment of chemocyte that went to the Xindi back on that one planet.
I picture this as like a molecular air tag that's just misbehaving.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's an Apple product. Find my death weapon.
Yeah, that's
Like
it.
yeah.
And so Hoshi says they found that signal. To get there, T'Pol says there's a big ass anomaly cluster in the way. They've managed to piece together, the data back from the redundant systems, but they've only got about 30% of it.
All right, I have a question.
Yeah.
Because the line is, we've managed to dig out about 30% from the redundant memory cores.
Yeah.
What is the fucking point of a redundant memory core if it doesn't have all of the memory in it?
So yeah, they got back 30% of it, which is
Okay.
apparently enough to map the spatial anomalies.
Ish.
Mostly. Mostly. There's like I said, there's a big ass anomaly in the way for them to get to the signal they found. It'll take 17 days to go around the anomaly, apparently. So Archer says, fuck it, we'll do it live and go through. We get a little navigation scene next, and things get spicy pretty quickly. The maps aren't looking so great. They graze one anomaly, and then one starts, like a cluster of anomalies form in front of them that they can't dodge, and the Enterprise gets...
Yeah, I think it's... So what happened was, and I don't want to get too scientific here, but it seemed like one cluster, like one anomaly met another anomaly, and then they roped in a third anomaly, which then they kind of thrupled into like a menage a trois of fucking horrible space that's just gonna make everything dirty.
So, long
smelly.
story short, there was an anomaly gangbang.
Yeah.
And Enterprise took the brunt of it.
I think the real problem here is that T'Pol is given the tiniest little viewfinder. Like, why does she have to watch through this little slot in the computer?
I was also wondering why she had to watch the periscope view of this instead of just putting shit up on the main viewer for Travis.
Right?
Or why doesn't Travis have the periscope view?
Yeah, so they get slammed by an anomaly. We get some damage scenes all over the ship. Crewman Chad gets thrown from the walkway. Poor crewman Chad. And
No, that's not Chad. Chad died.
Oh, okay. It's crewman Brad. I'm sorry.
Brad, yeah. Oh man, pour one out for Chad.
Yeah.
Archer gets knocked back into his chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Long story short, things are bad. Just in time to save the day, they get tractor beamed out of the anomaly by Shran. I did enjoy the camera work here.
I did not.
Oh, come on. It was good.
great.
It was so silly.
It was so
loved
silly,
it.
which is why it was great. But yeah, what I'm referring to is, so when they bring Shran up on the monitor, the camera angle is directly behind Archer's head, and all you see is the antenna poke up, so it looks like, Archer has antenna. It was pretty good. I liked it.
Have either of you read anything about how they get the Andorian antennae to move?
I didn't. Did you?
No, I was wondering, like, how they work. Like, are they battery operated? Do they've got, like...
These ones, so...
Some, like...
We kind of talked about in the first time when we saw the Andorians, they were obviously just, like, randomly moving. These ones are clearly reactive, so they don't look like CGI of the era, so I'm guessing that there is an operator with some kind of controls off
it's
screen.
definitely a practical effect. It doesn't look like CG at all.
Do they just have, like, a marionette puppeteer hanging out above the stage? Like...
I mean, maybe.
They're probably just actuated. Like, it's not a hard actuation. They don't do that much. There's just a twist and a thing, and they've got such big white wigs on anyways that they can hide all the wiring.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Shit. Actually,
so
I bet if I asked Josh, he would be able to tell me exactly how it works because he worked in a puppet shop for.
Oh yeah.
So Shran shows up, save the day.
He came up with. I'm a little disappointed by Shran's opening line here. Like, it could have been better.
Read it. Do you remember what it was?
It was something to the effect of, "Look what you've gotten yourself into now, pink skin," or whatever. Like, nah, come on. You had all this time to come up with something. You could have come up with something a little better than that, a little quippier.
I don't know. I thought it was fine. So yeah, he ribs the Enterprise. Oh, you silly humans always getting into trouble. He also mentions that Enterprise, he can't believe how brave they are for going into the Expanse with such a fragile ship. He does. He says
there's a backhanded compliment there.
Well, yeah,
it's like, wow, y'all are brave as hell to go into the Expanse with this shit box you drive.
Yeah, what is this? A toaster on wheels? Jeez. He says he's there to help as an ally. And, really lays it on thick in this whole conversation. Points out the Vulcans didn't come running to help. Yeah.
So, in this conversation, I actually really, really liked. I think it is undercut by some of the stuff that happens later in the episode. Sure. But until that happens, which I think was a mistake, I think they could have done it better. But until that happens, Shran is playing a very clever political game here and doing a good job. Because, the only reason that the humans don't like the Andorians is because the Vulcans told them not to. The Andorians haven't done anything to the humans.
I think it would have been very interesting. I know they don't wind up going down this path, but it would have been really interesting to see basically the Andorians and forcing the Vulcans to start trying to become the favorites of the humans, and that's what kind of drives the relationship forward for a little while. Like, that's what advances it, It
would have been better if they had allowed this political angle to actually play out properly, because it's a good idea politically, because the Andorians and the Vulcans are always at kind of like in strife, and like the humans are the Vulcans, tacit ally, but the humans have also been kind of pissy about the Vulcans and how they've been nannying them. So the Andorians are absolutely valid in a political maneuver to curry favor with the humans and try to drift them away from the Vulcans.
One thought.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying one thought I definitely had while watching the beginning of this episode was there's actually some very interesting kind of world building, lore establishment here of kind of the beginning of the Andorian human relationship.
Absolutely. And like I said, we'll get to it later, but it gets wildly undercut by a mistake, if I will say in the writing.
Yeah, but yeah. So, like I said, he's playing up how the Vulcans have abandoned them. He talks about how T'Pol had to leave Vulcan High Command to be able to
which is a
assist the humans.
fantastic point.
Yep.
Yeah, he's playing the game hard.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, after that we cut to kind of the armory area where Malcolm and Archer are talking. Malcolm's talking about all the damage that's been done. Archer says they need the Andorians' help to get it up and running as soon as possible. Archer kind of makes it sound like he's not, trusting of them, but he does pretty much trust him right away.
I don't know. He says things later too. They're like, I don't trust the Andorians, and every time I'm like, why?
Why?
They've literally done nothing duplicitous to the humans, and like the only people in the Vulcan Andorian relationship that have been duplicitous in the humans' experience was the fucking Vulcans.
Right.
Yeah. On Pajem.
Yeah.
So T'Pol recommends a security detail be established to be attached to each repair crew. Archer says he won't ask the Andorians to help them with a gun pointed at their head, which, I mean, fair. Archer assumes it's because she's racist against Andorians.
Anytime you have someone foreign working on your ship, it's really a good idea to have somebody nearby.
Yeah, agreed.
Because it is still a military vessel.
Right.
So,
especially after what happened last week.
Yep.
With the religious people.
Right. So T'Pol, goes on about how the Andorians are duplicitous, even though they actually started on the right foot with them. It deteriorated quickly after that. Archer says he doesn't trust Andorians, but does trust Shran.
I don't know if this was intentional on the part of the writers, but T'Pol says something kind of interesting here because she says that they were duplicitous and that they only honored agreements that would benefit them. Now, I don't know if she was trying to say they would make agreements but only honor some of them, or if they only made agreements that benefited them, which, is how politics works.
Right.
So and like I said, I don't know if that was an intentional point the writers are trying to make, that look how the Vulcans kind of twist what the Andorians were doing, which was like, man, these assholes had the audacity to want things. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I given the lack of deftness the writing in this episode gets later, I think it might have been a fluke, but it was a good line.
Right. Yeah. So next we get to meet the Andorian's lieutenant a little bit deeper here. Lieutenant Talus interrupts Reed's lunch and promptly gives him shit for not working.
Talus was great.
Man, my line here is, oh man, Reed and Talus are so gonna fuck on a torpedo later.
Yeah. Reed says he'll try to find her something to do, and my note was, I already know where this is going. They're definitely gonna bang at some point. Back in the captain's quarters, Shran says it's time for a drink. Your crew's got the repairs. We'll celebrate our new possible, at least helping each other sort of alliance thing. And he brought some nice blue juice.
Man,
delicious.
I don't know what it tastes like, but Andorian ale looks delicious.
it's blue raspberry flavored. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
It looks like they took a bunch of the blue raspberry dum-dums and melted them down and then put them into a bottle.
It could just be blue Gatorade.
But yeah. So Archer asks Shran why he got chosen for this mission. Shran says it made the most sense. He's worked with the humans a lot. They already had that relationship built. Just it lined up. Which, I mean, sure, all believable. Back in engineering, Paul gets an appraisal of the damage and timeline for repairs from Trip. Trip says it's normally be a few days, but the blue guys know their stuff. It's only going to take 12 hours.
Know their stuff.
I'm like, well, they call humans pink skins.
Blue heads is what he called them.
Blue heads? Is that what it was?
It was blue heads, yeah. Although, it is weird that they call them pink skins because, a lot of the species are the same skin tone as humans because, actors. So, do they call everybody pink skins or just humans?
That's a good question. I don't call Vulcans pink skins, even though they basically have the same skin tone.
Well, but Vulcans are theoretically greenish tinted, right?
Theoretically.
I like that the word pink skin can be like both derogatory but
And a
also
term of
like
endearment.
super friendly. Yeah, like it's so weird.
Yeah. So back in the armory, Reed asks Talus for a spanner. He says, I have better equipment that'll get this done much faster. And Reed's like, no, I don't want it. And then Talus makes a joke about how she should get him coffee. Reed says, sure, I'll take a coffee, babe. Talus promptly leaves, or starts to leave, and mentions, I'm not trying to steal secrets. It wouldn't be worth my time. Which Reed gets very defensive about.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, in the end, Reed apologizes for his rudeness and offers to get both of them some coffee so they can work on the ship together.
And like this whole sequence and like what will continue with these two throughout the episode, like this is fun, like sexual tension without getting weird horny.
Right.
It's
yeah,
like
agreed.
a little flirty, a little teasy, but like still professional. Everyone's got their clothes on. No one's like just straight up falling into anyone's breasts or anything stupid like that. It's just like, okay, all the adults who are watching this know that these two are going to bang and like, but they're getting their work done first. Like, this is great.
Yeah, very responsible of them.
Yeah.
With the Andorians' help, they've avoided any more anomalies and arrived where they found the signal, at least the system of where the signal's supposed to be. Shran gives orders to his ship to scan for the signal because they're more sophisticated, so they won't be detected. And they find 4 Xindi vessels. We also see them kind of in the control center. Looks like they've done some scans of the area. They've seen weapons bombardment craters on the various moons in the system. And Archer recognizes it as a weapons testing ground and compares it to Bikini Atoll.
I do not understand how neither T'Pol nor Shran specifically thought of a weapons testing site. Like,
Yeah.
Especially Shran.
Yeah. So they discuss their options. They seem to come up with something. We don't find out about it in this scene, though. Shran's walking through the hallways and gets intercepted by Trip. I thought this was an interesting exchange that didn't really affect anything in the episode, but I found kind of an interesting kind of building of Shran's character.
This made me realize that I want a Shran Trip buddy cop movie.
Right?
This is when I started to question Shran's motives, because compassionate Shran is the weirdest Shran.
See,
I think this is actually genuine from him, though.
Yeah,
This is
I think that that's what makes Shran a good character, is that like
right.
He's got his missions, he's got his loyalties, but he's also just a dude who's got like feelings and shit.
Right. He has a history. He's been in the military a while. He's lost people. Yeah.
I think it's a combination of this and then what happens at the end of the episode. But
Well, sure.
We'll get there.
Sure. So Shran, or Trip asks Shran for some piece of technology. Shran says, I don't know, but then does offer his condolences for the loss of Trip's sister. Trip says, he isn't after revenge. He just wants to make sure they can't finish what they started. And Shran says, I like you. I'll give you that piece of tech. Which, I mean, I guess Shran can just give alien technology away to other people.
Well, he is like, I don't know exactly how the ranking structure works in the Andorian Imperial Guard, but like he does seem pretty highly ranked.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, so after that, we cut back to the Xindi. They're getting very cranky about waiting at this point. Very much rabbling.
This is where, like, I was like, is the bridge of the humanoid Xindi ship like an old-timey typing pool? Because there's like 3 or 4 more desks with just dudes with computers in front of them, and they're just kind of there in like a weird line.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. The other Xindi are getting cranky, and Jagger's like, fine, we'll do the test. Jeez. However, right before the test, the Xindi detect a ship entering the system.
Best moment from the episode.
This is so good. Degra cancels the weapons test, and pulls the ship up on screen, and surprise, it's Shran representing the Andorian Mining Consortium. at looking for Archerite.
Archerite.
I fucking love that because he
What a
like
douche.
looks over to the side first.
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
feel like-
oh fuck, what am I gonna say?
I don't know. The way he said it, I almost like, I think he's just making fun of Archer. I think he's just being a dick.
Yeah, it was very good. I enjoyed all of it.
It's so funny. And then, like, yeah, and he's like, he's like, we're looking for this. And he's like, well, then you've lost yourself a healthy cut with his Indian. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Says,
then-
no, seriously, fuck off or we'll attack
And
you.
then he closes out the screen and he tells his lieutenant, and it's like, pull back, but not all the way. And then he's like, the Andorian mighty consortium runs from no one.
Dude, the other
Shred
bit
is so
of the scene
badass.
that I really appreciated was they wanted to get scans of this thing, right? So they just start pinging the shit out of everything in the system.
Oh, they just
and
scanned
they're
the
like,
fuck out of him.
It's
They're
just a
like, oh, we're
broadband
so
scan,
sorry,
nothing to
our-
fear.
Yeah, our scanners are omnidirectional. We don't know what they're doing.
Oh my gosh. So yeah.
That was so good.
Yep. So that was apparently their plan of action that they came up with before, and perfect, worked to a charm. They got the scans they needed. They found a signal that matched the weapon that attacked Earth, so they know where it's at. Archer is in a hurry to get his hands on the weapon. He says, "Let's go, go, go." Tran seems very interested at this point. And this is where it's definitely like, okay, so there's definitely like some other ulterior motives going on here. That's when they really start to broadcast it. Back in the armory, Talus and Reed seem to be getting along well, finding things in common. She correctly assumes Reed's parents were disappointed in him, which, I mean, you could just get by looking at him. You don't really know
Reed
his history.
exudes, my parents are disappointed in me. And I think that like this moment combined with the moment between Shran and Trip is actually well done, because it's like, it doesn't matter how different we are. We're the fucking same. People are generally the same.
Right.
So
right.
like, you know, understanding how to live up to like a military legacy is the same for humans as it is for Andorians, and
right.
you know,
Like-
losing loved ones to a war is the same for, you know, Trip and Shran.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I really like that episode with the Vulcan ambassador too. Like, it just, I don't know, it just makes them seem like people instead of caricatures.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Which a lot of times aliens are used as kind of just caricatures of you know,
And
a set of values.
right.
Or
And
a
in defense of
particular
the
Cough,
show,
cough,
like
Ferengi.
they've got to introduce them and get
Yeah.
the shit out inside an episode, right? So like, I
Mhm.
get why.
Right.
But like, as you should with these longer, like more recurring alien species, like we should learn more about them.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh, the flirting and the horniness, by the way, does not like calm down here.
No, yeah.
They're
still
they're
very
still
flirty.
at 11. Yeah.
Little sly smiles exchanged. It's very cheeky. So after Reed leaves, he goes to do something. You could see Talus kind of look into whatever thing she was working on using some device. So once again, they're broadcasting that there's something else going on here.
This particular camera linger, I actually don't think that was the intent. I think she like was genuinely just trying to continue her work because he was going to go power it up. But like, I think the camera accidentally lingered here too long in the editing booth, because
I
like,
don't know. They
she
added,
doesn't.
like,
But there's no musical score, because usually when
there was.
when- I did not catch a musical score like that standard duplicitous alien musical spike. I did not. Catch
I
that
heard
at all.
I heard duplicitous music.
Nah.
I don't remember, so I'm gonna break this
Very
tie
helpful.
by not
Good job.
breaking the
Thank
tie.
Mhm.
Anyway, they get
Because this isn't even what she ends up fucking with. This is just the phase cannon, like,
something.
I don't know,
Is there.
frequency
Tuner.
something or others. The thing
Yeah.
that she fucks with is the sensors, which they're working on later.
True. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, whatever. They get next. They get a good view of the prototype test. It does some good damage to the moon. Kind of knocks a chunk off of it.
All right. Two things. One, the CGI here is weirdly awful. For just like a big space laser. Like, they got some pretty good like spaceship fights and stuff. They can't do just a space laser hitting the moon. Second of all, like, I know the moon didn't get, like, exploded to dust, but if you did that to a planet, everyone on it would still die. So I don't know why everyone's so fucking disappointed.
Yeah, well, they need to atomize it. I mean, come on.
I guess for souvenir vials later? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if it was what they were going for here, but Degra was definitely giving off Tarkin, like, you may fire when ready vibes through the whole scene, too.
Yeah. So yeah, there wasn't destroyed as promised. Jigger says he needs time to analyze the data. The Zindi reptiles are getting very impatient. They're like, just let us go blow them up with our regular ships. But yeah, on Enterprise, Paul identifies the failure of the weapon. She correctly assumes it looks like it was overloading, so they stopped. Archer credits the failure to the sabotaged chemosite shipments from Greylick.
Yeah,
thought that was a nice callback.
That was a nice callback.
I agree, but I'm also like, that feels weird because Greylick seemed like he wasn't sure he was going to do that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did. Yeah, that's a good point because they did leave like the end of that episode as, did Greylick I just betray my people?
Oh fuck, did I just kill all of my people? Oops. Yeah.
So they, now that they've seen it, Shran offers the use of his ship to capture the weapon because I guess their cargo holds are better lined to protect the rest of the ship from radiation.
They have straight up shields, which the Enterprise does not have.
Right.
So the Andorians are like out, like, because because Archer says we can line our hold and it'll help somewhat with the radiation, and Shran's like, we have shields. The radiation ain't getting through that, so we'll scoop it up.
Right. So Archer doesn't seem enthused about the idea, but that seems to go along with it. We get a little Reed and Talos buddy scene again. They're just kind of getting along, all chummy.
She got his cannons to a better efficiency.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
They're like, you should join the Federation, or not the Federation, the Starfleet. And then she's like, you should join the Imperial Guard so we can have sex.
Well, yeah, no, it's like later we're going to join together.
Yep. So, Archer tells Shran he wants to be there on Shran's ship to oversee the capture. Shran is very not interested right away, obviously because he's going to steal
See,
the weapon.
and this is, oh my God, this was so bad. This was not, because they had that call where it looked like he called actually back in time to a shittier resolution version of an Andorian. I don't know why his call screen looked like it was from the 70s.
He's speaking to his general because, there's interference from anomalies and stuff.
Sure.
Shut up.
But yeah, he's talking to his general, and the general's like, make sure you fuck the humans over. And I'm like, this is stupid. This is
Shran's like, how about we don't fuck them over? That's an option. He's just like, no, we don't need allies. Fuck
and
you.
I think like
we want to blow up some Vulcans.
Oh, you know what? I have the whole note later. Okay, yeah, we'll get there in a minute.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we won't need allies.
Right. Reed, we cut back to Reed and Talos. Reed sees Talos doing some things. She's just like, I'm just being thorough, checking for some stuff. Tee-hee. And then walks away.
Well, and she says, because this moment is great, because this is the last time they're together on screen, which means this is right before they actually fuck, I'm assuming.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
Either in Reed's quarters or in just like one of the weapons closets.
Jeffrey's tube.
I doubt they got that far. Because she says, like, this ship is ready. I would even ride it into battle. And then Reed goes, even with its primitive weaponry. And she goes, it's not the weapon. It's the soldier who wields it. Yep. And I was like, oh, they're going to fuck right now.
Not the size of the boat. It's the motion of the ocean.
Exactly. But again, like, it was fine. It wasn't horny and gross. It was just like, this is adult, flirty, whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Like, yeah. And they're both unattached, so like there's nothing, wrong about any of this on any level. Like it's go like you finished your work, got a few minutes before the mission, go let out some steam with each other.
Yeah. Meet pink to blue,
Do you think it's cold?
I don't imagine.
It is an ice planet.
That's
right?
true. They are from
an
ice
moon.
planet. Maybe they're more cold-blooded. Who knows? Well, if you're cold-blooded, generally you want
to be from a hot planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're exothermal.
Endo?
Or endothermic, yeah.
Yep. So Reed kind of looks like he checks the things she was working on, and then we cut away from that scene to the Zindi, who have detected the humans entering, quote unquote, the system. And they send 2 ships to investigate. Archer is at this point on the Andorian ship. And while the Enterprise fends off those 2 Zindi ships, the Andorians swoop in and swipe the weapon.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So the Enterprise is distracting these 2 reptilian ships.
Just beating their ass.
So this like reptilian ship shows up and they shoot at it, and the reptilian ship shoots at them, and like half of the bridge explodes and sparks are going everywhere, and then Reed goes, "Whole plating's holding." Like,
Yeah.
Is it?
what is it doing exactly? Because like, like your own console just exploded in front of you, but you're like, "That's everything's fine, sir." Like, what the fuck?
Oh man. Yep. The Andorian ship swipes the weapon, and immediately Shran's like, all right, mission successful, time to go back to Andoria to take this sweet ass super weapon with us.
And this is, again, this is the lazy part of the conflict, in my opinion. First of all, I'm annoyed because the conflict is resolved so fucking fast, it's meaningless.
Yeah.
But like, I decided like it would have been better, because I actually wrote this down. It would be better if Shran was just taking data from the weapon against
Sure.
Archer's wishes.
Sure.
Like, same arguments, but far more reasonable.
Right.
You know, because the Andorians are just trying to like we want to scan this weapon, and Archer's like, it's a weapon of mass destruction. Absolutely not. Fuck you. But like, it's not like we're straight up like denying you your mission and fucking this entire alliance up. It's just a matter of like, we want detailed scans. No, same arguments, same discussions, but not quite as ham-fisted.
Yeah, I didn't love this part. I tend to agree with all your points as why it didn't work that well. I will say that Shran carried the scenes regardless.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Combs can act. Like, there's no
Yeah.
doubt about that.
Yeah.
And again, I think that the scenes were, even the dialogue was fine.
Yeah.
I just think that the conflict itself
Was-
could have been better.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
this is the lazy, the whole, like, Shran's duplicitous thing is
Right.
stupid.
Right. So we get, Archer says, oh, the Andorians are exactly like the Vulcans say they are. And, Shran defends himself and, gives us motivations. We got to, defend ourselves from the Vulcans, yada, yada. But he doesn't like I said, Combs does a good job acting here. In a way, he delivers his lines where it doesn't seem like he fully believes his own words.
Yeah.
We then get the most random punch. Well, the punch itself isn't random. The dialogue after made no sense at all. Because Archer punches Shran and says he owed him that for a long time.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure
was
what
up with
that
that?
means.
Why exactly? Like, did Shran punch him like the very first time they met?
Did we
or something?
miss something? Because the Andorians have literally done nothing to the humans until this very moment.
I'm trying to remember
Well, I mean,
Shadows of Pajem, where they
There-
like meet them the first time. Does
I
like
don't remember Archer getting punched. Like, the only time that Archer ever got roughed up by an Andorian was the one that was like trying to start the civil war amongst
The Dami Mommy.
Andorians.
Yeah, and Shran was on his side for that.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, see, like I said, it makes no sense.
In
So-
Shadows of Pajem, like, the Andorians were helping the humans escape from the dissidents on that planet.
Oh, wait, which is the one where they were at the Vulcan Shrine thing? Was that not Shadows
That's
of Pajem? or-
so that is the Andorian incident. That is
Oh,
Pajem
okay,
is the
okay.
name of that planet. Shadows of Pajem is where they tie T'Pol up in the bondage.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Andorians
Um,
rescue him.
Yeah, so Shran says, put him in an escape pod and tell Enterprise where he is so they can pick him up. Enterprise quickly picks up Archer. He says some stuff, but back on Shran's ship, he says, he's talking to his general, who's very happy, and he says, I don't want any commendations, because he's mad about the whole thing.
See, and yeah, this is where it starts just getting cliched because of how they set the conflict up.
Right. He's then alerted to the Enterprise approaching.
Such a nice camera shot. Like, anytime we leave from a ready room straight to the bridge,
Yeah.
like a single shot, It's so good, and they did it
Yeah,
here too, like they did
it
last
makes
episode.
you yeah, it makes you definitely feel like you're there a little bit more. It makes it more real.
Right, and it gives it an urgency because when the camera's moving, it feels like shit's happening.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
I always thought the same thing when watching Next Generation when they're coming out of Picard's ready room or whatever.
I'm not sure they ever I don't think they ever follow them out like this. This is the only time I've ever really noticed it.
I remember it happening before.
I remember them like cutting, and they do that. It's just like, well, let's go, and then they cut to the bridge, and you can see them coming out of the room, which is fine. But this, like the camera physically following the actors out of the room.
Maybe, yeah.
This is the only time I ever remember that happening.
So, Archer's on the screen. Says, "Give me the weapon, or we'll detonate the weapon in the Andorian cargo bay." Because thanks for the scans you gave us earlier. Because we picked up the weapon initiation code.
I like how activating the super weapon is as complex as figuring out like the right universal remote code.
Yeah,
you just got to look up like Xindi super prototype in like the little manual that comes with the controller. It's like 823 or whatever.
Yep. So so he says, I'm gonna blow up your ship if you don't drop it. Says Shran can still make good on his offer to help them. Shran's obviously not going to go along with it and doesn't believe Archer's threat. Archer immediately makes good on his threat and activates the weapon, forcing Shran to dump it. And it explodes shortly thereafter, catching the Andorian ship in the explosion's wake. Doesn't destroy him, but does knock him about quite a bit. At which point, Archer graciously offers his assistance, which is
great.
Declined by Shran, apparently. Although I feel like that's a scene that could have been in there that wasn't. Although maybe they just ran short on time.
Well, yeah, because they had to have some of those other scenes, yeah.
Right. Finally, back in the command center, it appears that Shran, or somebody, I assume Shran,
I actually was wondering if it was Shran or Reed's bone partner.
Right, bone bro.
Lieutenant Tallis.
Yeah, Tallis, yeah. But it appears that one of them, at least, may have sent some data on the weapon collected before they ejected it. So they did get something out of the whole ordeal. And that is where the episode ends. So, on a scale of 1 to 5, where 0 is threshold, where are you all at for this one?
So I got to agree with Stanford. I feel like they missed a lot of opportunities with the writing here. But overall, very enjoyable. I gave this one a 4.
Okay. Stanford?
So I think I'm going to leave it as a 4. I started a 4, and I think that if I can just in my head assume that the conflict wasn't as stupid as it was at the end there, everything up until that moment was good. Good, interesting political movements by the Andorians.
Yep.
And that I think is the primary take home from the episode. Like the prototype and the movement of the overall plot almost felt secondary to the relationship building between the humans and the Andorians, and it was well handled up until that last bit, right? Mm-hmm. And then the primary plot with the weapon and stuff, it was fine. It was whatever. Nice callback to Greylick, etc. So yeah, I think I'm also going to give it a 4.
Yeah, I'm at the same point as you guys are. I'm a 4 for this one, for all the same reasons you mentioned. I think this is generally a very enjoyable, good episode, despite the slight stumble there at the end. I think overall it was paced well. It was interesting. Interesting things happened. Good episode. Very much enjoyed it.
IMDb gave this one a 5 on adjusted scale.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I mean, based on where we're at, I mean, it was a very good episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I was worried too when I saw the thumbnail that I was going to give it the benefit of the doubt because of Jeffrey Combs, but he comes through. He's a good actor in the scenes that he is in. His lines are delivered well. The writing of his dialogue was good. Yes. And everyone else's dialogue was fine. Archer's dialogue slipped here and there because...
even Reed was fine in this episode.
Reed was fine. Yeah. I actually found that it seemed like the writers didn't really know what to do with Archer because he's supposed to be like he suspects the Andorians of being duplicitous, but they didn't have a good reason for him to do so. So he just kind of had to default to that, which is one of those because they aren't. They're just people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a fun one. After the break, we will come back with our deep dive. All right, welcome back. So, for our deep dive on this episode, I kind of wanted to dive a little bit into something that Archer mentioned in this episode, which was Bikini Atoll, which, of course, was the one of the main weapons testing sites for the U.S.'s nuclear weapons program.
Yeah, it's where Godzilla comes from, too.
Yeah, because of that weapons program, Godzilla showed up, yeah.
It's pretty crazy, yeah. So the nuclear weapons tests of the United States were performed from basically 1945 to 1992. Total, the U.S. conducted about 1,054 nuclear tests, not all in Bikini Atoll.
Holy fuck, had you asked me to guess how many tests, I knew it would be like a couple hundred. I did not realize it was going to be that fucking many.
That's a lot.
I didn't even expect it to be over like 200.
Oh my God.
It's a lot. Yeah, so 1,054 by official count, so that's not even including unofficial tests.
Do you think like, whatever test made the hills have eyes, do you think like there was a point where there were scientists who were like, I mean, do we need this like 958th test right now? And they're like, fuck yeah, blow it up, man. Like,
what could go wrong?
Like, what did we learn on that 1054th test that we didn't already know, you know?
We found out that a nuke, if you put it inside of a pumpkin, does blow up the pumpkin.
You know, and we never tested the refrigerator, so I say we petition Congress for a 1055th.
Jesus.
Yeah. So most of the tests took place at either the Nevada test site or what was referred to as the Pacific Proving Grounds in the Marshall Islands, which included Bikini Atoll. Plus, there was also 3 in the Atlantic Ocean, and 10 other tests took place at various locations in the U.S., including Alaska, Nevada, Colorado, Mississippi, and New Mexico. So,
I'm sorry, did you just say they tested a nuclear explosion in Mississippi?
Apparently, yes, that is on the list, yeah.
Huh.
I don't know anything else cited, but it is on the official test list.
Crazy.
So, Bikini Atoll is known as... where is it? Sorry, I lost my place. Yeah. So Bikini Atoll is a coral reef in the Marshall Islands consisting of 23 islands surrounded by about 230 square miles of central lagoon. After the Second World War, the atoll was chosen by the United States as a nuclear weapon testing site. It would be the site of only the 4th nuclear bomb detonation and would go on to be the site of many more tests. There were people that lived in this island chain, about 167, who, quote unquote, agreed to relocate after being informed of the planned test. The then new nuclear weapons of great importance to humankind.
Was the first test at Atoll the H-bomb?
I don't know.
Okay.
In 1946, they were moved to an island called Rongerik, which was east of Bikini Atoll, but it turned out to have inadequate resources to support the population. The islanders began experiencing starvation as early as 1948 until they were moved again, this time to a different atoll called Kwajalein. The United States used the island and lagoon as a site of 23 nuclear tests until 1958, when it turned out nuclear weapons were much more dangerous and toxic than anything that anybody had expected. Crazy,
what? Right? So these people, were they like I don't know, I don't want to say primitives. It's like that's a pejorative term, but like were they like
indigenous?
Natives, like indigenous? Yeah, like
they were described as islanders, which it doesn't go into specifics of that. There was some history on them where it seemed like, they were more kind of like island tribes.
Okay. Because you say like they relocated, but then they started starving because there weren't enough resources, and I'm trying to think of like, so that feels
they mainly
feels
did.
like they were like a quote unquote primitive native tribe that they just kind of moved to a different island.
Yeah, so they did.
We are very shitty people.
Yeah, they weren't like farming or anything. They got most of their food from like fishing and shellfish and things like that.
Which I'm assuming probably were affected by the nearby nuclear tests pretty harshly.
Yeah, so in 1970, apparently 200 residents were returned to their home island by the U.S. government, but scientists found dangerously high levels of strontium-90 in the well water. And in May 1978, and the residents' bodies were carrying abnormally high concentrations of cesium-137. So, not great. They were then evacuated again in 1980, because obviously that was not ready for human life yet. The island today is occasionally visited by divers and a few scientists, and is apparently occupied by a handful of caretakers. But the people of the atoll, which now number in several thousand, have spread out to other Marshallese Islands, as well as other, mainland United States areas. There was a trust fund established, which has been supporting services for many of the Bikini since the 1980s, but was apparently emptied of its fund in the late 2010s.
Wow, that recently, huh?
Yeah. So, lost my place here.
Well, and famously, the radiation and stuff mutate a lot of the local sea life, and that's why SpongeBob and Patrick Star exist.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
They live at Bikini Bottom.
Mm-hmm. Small, unrelated note here. The bikini, like the Bikini Atoll, was the namesake of the swimwear garment bikini. It was apparently thought up by a Frenchman. I don't know why he used the word bikini to describe it, but that is where the term bikini comes from.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Bikini Atoll existed before the bikini swimwear?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is it a local term then?
Bikini Atoll, apparently in Marshallese, like it was referred to as coconut place. According to Wikipedia, it was a Bikini with a P.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yep. So yeah, just a little history of the Bikini Atoll that Archer referenced there. I found it very interesting. I'd known some of this, but there was more to it than I had thought. I didn't realize there were people living on the island before they used it as a test site.
I didn't either. Although atolls tend to be very fertile. So like fertile with like life. Not necessarily like farmland.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I'm not surprised that they're, because the Polynesians because it's the Marshall Islands, right? So they're in the Pacific. The Polynesians were all over the Pacific, right? So
sure.
I'm not surprised.
I remember, so like I don't know if you saw this while you were doing research, Chris, but I remember reading about the atoll a couple of times, and I remember two things about it. One, there are a ton of horseshoe crabs for some reason. Or not horseshoe crabs, coconut crabs.
Yep. Yeah, there's a very high population
are
of coconut
big
crabs.
ass ones?
The big ass ones, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the ones that can literally crack coconuts open with their claws. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are terrifying looking. The other thing I found out, so when they were doing the atomic tests, it wiped out most of the local coral, but because no one's been in the area, because it's dangerous, and they've just left everything alone for so long now, the coral's apparently regrowing and thriving there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned that you asked if the bikini was around only after this. Apparently, it was on the 5th of July, 4 days after the first nuclear device, nicknamed Able, was detonated over Bikini Atoll, did this Frenchman announce his new swimwear being named the Bikini.
Interesting. Yeah, so I don't know. Have either of you seen Man in the High Tower?
Is that the alternate history one?
Yes.
Or Man in the High Castle, is that what it is?
Man in the High Castle, excuse me. Man in the High Castle.
I've watched the first season and a half. I haven't watched all of it.
Okay, yeah, we watched the first couple seasons. We never finished it. It's based on a Philip K. Dick. It's loosely based on a Philip K. Dick book. But
this is where Germany and Japan take over the U.S., right?
Right.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I have seen a little bit of that then.
Okay. I don't know if you remember, but like the thing that Japan uses to convince the Germans to not like kill them is like the footage from the alternate universe of the Bikini Atoll like H-bomb explosion.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if I had gotten that far.
Yeah, that may have been season 2 stuff right there. So spoilers for this 10-year-old show or whatever. 10-year-old show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that's why I knew that the H-bomb went off there specifically, is because it's like, oh yeah, that I saw that show, and it was just the footage was there.
Small note that I had just found because I had this article up about the bikini. Because the bikini exposes a woman's thighs and shoulders, it violates the Marshall Islanders' modern customs of modesty. Whereas cultural taboos regarding women's breasts are less strict on the island. Marshall Island women swim in their muumuus, which are made of a fine polyester that dries quickly.
Well, there you are then.
Yep.
As is continuing to be the case, the French are dirty sluts, apparently. And the Marshall Islanders agree.
Yep. All right. Well, after the next break, we will come back with some potpourri from Rob.
From me.
Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, who did the cold open? It's the other person. Okay.
All right, welcome back. So for potpourri this week, I thought we could do a little trivia with a twist.
Oh,
Okay.
shit. Is it music trivia? Because Chris loves that.
No, it's not music trivia.
No, I don't.
The way
I don't like your dumb theme song music trivia.
Damn, I worked really hard on those.
the way this is going to be blackjack rolls. Okay, so essentially, I'm going to go back and forth between the two of you, and you'll have an opportunity to answer the question. If you don't know, we can pass to the other person. But if neither of you know, then the house gets the point, meaning me. Okay.
May I opt?
This is how Rob's gonna finally win trivia.
Yeah. May I opt for a physical challenge?
I don't think you're gonna be able to complete the.
I just want the ability to opt for it.
Sure. Then yes.
You're gonna crawl through that gross ear or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's just gonna be stand up.
Yeah. Up on a treadmill.
Wiggle your big toe.
I can do that.
Oh.
I can do that. I can do
style.
that. As long as it's one toe.
Is it the big toe?
Stanford.
What?
He didn't hear you.
Is it the big toe?
Yeah, well, I can wiggle one big toe on one foot.
Oh.
I mean, I can wiggle my other toes on that foot as well, but like I can't wiggle the big toe on the other foot.
Wow.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, that's going to be the physical challenge if you opt for it then. I'm so sorry. So anyway, Chris, you're going to go first. All right.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What is Data's full name?
These are going to be fucking hard, aren't they?
Data Noonan's son?
Nope. That is incorrect. Stanford?
Yeah, that totally wasn't my guess. What a stupid guess. Shit, I have no idea.
Is this a trick question? Are you a bitch?
Is it Data? Is that just his full name?
Oh, Chris, come on, man.
That
You
was
suck.
where I did not need Chris to tell me that. That's where my head was going. Because I was like, is
Right.
Data short for anything? I guess datum, but no, it's the plural. So I'm like, is this a trick question? Then you said it out loud, yeah.
Yep.
No.
Son of a
All
bitch.
right, back to Chris then. Chris, what character was labeled as unknown sample by the Bajoran scientist who discovered them?
Oh, that's Odo.
Yep, that is Odo. Stanford, what profession did Picard claim to be aboard Enterprise when captured by trilithium thieves?
Yes, hold on. A technician,
Nope.
oh, okay.
Chris?
I remember this episode. What did
I
he
do
say
too.
he was?
I didn't know they were stealing trilithium.
Yeah, it was like the hazardous waste from the reactor.
you say he was like a janitor or something?
Nope. He claimed to be the ship's barber.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
That's a funny joke.
Yeah.
That is a funny joke. All right. Whose was that? That was Stanford's.
This
Chris.
is general Star Trek trivia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here comes the music.
Chris, what phrase did a 1980 San Franciscan greet the crew in Star Trek IV The Voyage Home with?
Fuck.
The fuck?
I don't know. Peace? I don't know.
Nope. Stanford?
Wow, shit. I don't know. Fucking Far Out? I don't know. It's like early 80s, right?
Nope. It was a cabbie who was angry that they were jaywalking and shouted "dumbass" at Kirk.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do recall that scene now.
Yeah. All right. Stanford. Which Star Trek captain has a famous love of baseball?
Well, it's Captain Sisko.
Yep, it's Cisco.
Yeah, he was commander first, but yeah, there's a whole fucking like episode of that.
Several episodes of that, actually.
Well, the Take Me Out to the Holodeck was the
Sure,
where they're
sure,
playing
like
against the Vulcans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. My OneNote just decided to crash. Okay. Chris. Who replaced Dr. Crusher during season 2 of TNG?
Oh, Dr. Pulaski.
Dr. Pulaski. That is correct.
We're gonna need her full name too.
What was her first name?
It's a trick question. It's Dr. Pulaski.
Yeah, her first name was Doctor. Stanford.
Judith? I want to say it was like Judith Pulaski. Is that right?
Actually sounds
Don't
about
remember.
right.
Stanford. How many episodes of TOS feature a shirtless Kirk?
Jesus.
Shirtless. 1.
Nope. Chris for the steal?
Shit. 3?
No, it was 13.
Oh, God.
A full
That show's only-
25%.
I was gonna say that show's only got like 40 some odd episodes. Yeah.
I see you've got your shirt off.
It's Catherine Pulaski, by the way.
Oh, that was my
Catherine
next
Pulaski,
guess
yeah.
for sure.
All right. Chris, what was intended to be the original name for Enterprise according to Gene Roddenberry?
It was the Yorktown, wasn't it?
Damn it.
It was the Yorktown, yep.
It's like, oh, I know this one.
Wasn't this one of my trivia questions at one point?
Oh, years ago, yeah. Oh, years ago. A year ago. Yeah.
I had talked about it too when we were when I was going through like all of the scripts that were abandoned
Oh,
it was
that's
in the
right.
original
Yeah.
idea. It was like Wagon Train to Space, I think was the
Right.
name of the original script. Yeah, it was the Starship Yorktown. It wasn't even the USS Yorktown.
Right.
All right. So then Stanford. Why did Worf's forehead change in season 2 of TNG?
Botox.
This is like, may I ask an informational question?
Sure.
Did it?
It did, yeah. He got a new
did.
prosthetic
Yep.
as a part
Oh.
of his costume.
The previous one was uncomfortable.
Nope. Chris, do you know?
Was it because he was getting more camera time and the old prosthetic wasn't like good enough?
No. It was stolen.
What?
Stolen?
The prosthetic was stolen from the set.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. All right, so Stanford, that leaves you with 2 points. Chris, you earned 3, and it looks like I've got 4 here.
Oh, do I have
Rigged.
it?
Stop the steal.
So,
Stop the steal.
so yeah, for all of you playing the bingo card at home, I just won trivia.
Boo.
Oh, I don't have it on mine.
Boo.
Boo. Boo. Putrescence.
Yeah.
Queen of filth.
Queen of slime.
It was funny. I was trying to make them like tricky without making them impossible.
Hey,
Like
out of
they-
curiosity, Mariah,
Yeah.
earlier you were complaining about the kind of Reed and Talus like horniness. Were you like offended? Would we call that being offended?
Yeah.
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 Oh, okay. Then with Rob winning trivia, I have bingo. So suck it, Rob.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll take my wins where I can get them.
Yep.
I got Mariah gets offended, Stanford scores an episode of 5, multi-human transport, Rob wins a trivia, and Porthos gets some cheese.
Yeah.
I want cheese.
Those were all in the last couple of days, too.
The 5 was a while ago, as was the multi-human, but yeah, the other 3 were.
Nice.
All right. Well, there you go. Stanford wins bingo this time around. That'll wrap us up then. As Chris mentioned at the top of the pod, please remember to rate, review, subscribe, like, share with your friends and family. Write us some funny comments or emails. Stanford does enjoy reading them. And yeah, otherwise, thank you for tuning in for this week's Captain's Log Supplemental. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.